Right, in the second of these three videos, we're going to look at another variation on an atom, which is the ion. Okay, so what are ions all about? Right, in the first video, we did a recap on how atoms have to be, the overall charge has to be zero. They have to be electrically neutral. So the number of protons has to match the number of electrons. In ions, it's different. Ions have an overall charge on them because the numbers of protons and the number of electrons are not equal. Okay, so there's an overall charge. Because if you remember, protons have a charge of +1 and electrons have a charge of -1. So if there's more protons than neutrons, there's going to be an overall charge of positive charge. If there's more electrons, there's going to be an overall negative charge. Okay, so let's have a little look at this in a bit more detail. So basically, what are ions? So ions are atoms where electrons are being removed or added. Okay, right. Lithium. Let's have a little recap. What's a lithium atom made of? Right. It's got atomic number 3, so it's 3 protons. It's got 7 there, so it's got 4 neutrons, and it's got 1, 2, 3 electrons. So 3 electrons, 3 protons, charge 0. Now, lithium atoms can lose electrons. So when lithium becomes an ion, one of these fellas disappears, which means we now have, okay, so we've got protons. We've still got 3 protons. We've still got 4 neutrons. When atoms become ions, nothing happens to the nucleus. The only thing that happens is electrons are either lost or gained. Now, we've lost an electron with lithium. If we've lost an electron, we've now got only 2. So let's recap. What's the charge on a proton? +1. What's the charge on an electron? -1. So we've got +3 and -1, meaning the overall charge on this ion is +1. Okay, so this fella here has a charge of +1, and we just give it 1 plus there. Okay, so this is a lithium ion. And if you wanted to write it or give the symbol for it instead of drawing the diagram, we just write the chemical symbol and then the plus. So that's a lithium ion. It's got a charge of 1 plus. Okay, magnesium, I think if you remember, magnesium loses 2 of its electrons, doesn't it? So magnesium, okay, let's take this one here, this one here. So if it's losing, it's still got 12 protons. It's still got 12 neutrons. Electrons, it did have 12. It's lost 2. It's now got 10. We've got 12 plus 1s, 10 minus 1s. The overall charge is +2 because we've got 12 lots of +1, 10 lots of -1, which means the overall charge is +2. Okay, the overall charge is +2. So the way to write the symbol for that is, this is magnesium, so it's Mg 2+. So that is the magnesium ion. Okay. Right, we did the same with fluorine, but fluorine does something different. It doesn't lose electrons, it gains 1, doesn't it? So if it gains 1 electron, let's have a look at this. Protons, neutrons, electrons. It's still got 9 protons. Nothing, like I said, with ions, nothing happens to the nucleus. So it's got 9 protons. It's still got 10 neutrons. But the electrons, it did have 9. It's gained 1. It's now got 10. So what's the charge? We've got 9 lots of +1. We've got 10 lots of -1. So if we've got 9 plus 1s and 10 minus 1s, the overall charge is minus 1. Okay, because plus 9 minus 10 is minus 1. So the fluorine ion, by the way, fluorine, when it becomes an ion, when a fluorine atom becomes an ion, it's called a fluoride atom. A fluoride atom. Let me just write that for you. Okay, so fluoride ion is, okay, is F minus, because it's got this extra negative electron there, meaning it's now got an overall negative charge. Okay, in this last example, then let's look at oxygen. Let's look at what happens to an oxygen atom when it becomes an ion, when it becomes ionized. Right, what have we got in oxygen? Okay, we've got atomic number of 8. That means there's 8 protons in the nucleus. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 positive protons in the nucleus. Mass number of 16, that's protons plus neutrons, so there must be 16 neutrons in the nucleus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 neutrons in the nucleus. So 8 protons, 8 neutrons in the nucleus. Right. Now, because if this was just an atom, it would be electrically neutral. So it would have how many? It would have 8, wouldn't it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? 8 electrons, because it must have 8 protons. So it must be balanced. Right, now when it becomes an ion, oxygen, because it's a non-metal, gains electrons. It becomes negative. It gains electrons. So 2 extra electrons are going to go into that energy level there. Okay? So what have we got now? What have we got inside this ion, this oxygen ion? Protons, neutrons, electrons. Right. Number of protons, 8. Doesn't change in the nucleus. Number of neutrons, 8. Doesn't change because it's in the nucleus. Now we have 10 electrons. Right, we've got 8 lots of plus 1. We've got 10 lots of minus 1. So the overall charge in this ion, the overall charge, we've got plus 8 minus 10 is minus 2. So an oxygen ion is O 2 minus. Okay, so that is an oxygen ion. It's negative. Thank you.